Son, football once taught me one of the most important lessons about life. Not in a classroom, not from a book, but from 93 minutes and 20 seconds of chaos on a football pitch. You see, some moments in football are more than highlights. They are not just goals. They are not just trophies. They are stories about courage, about belief, and about refusing to quit when the world thinks the game is already over. And today, I want to tell you about one of the most unforgettable moments in the history of the football. Best goals ever scored. It happened in 2012, and it involved a man named Sergio Aguero, playing for Manchester City against Queen's Park Rangers in the Premier League. But more importantly, son, it was a moment that proved something powerful. The game is never over until you stop believing. The day the Premier League held its breath. Let me take you back to that day. The 13th of May, 2012, the final day of the Premier League season. Inside, at the Stadium, the tension in the air felt so thick you could almost touch it. Manchester City had not won the league title in 44 years. 44 years, son. Imagine waiting your entire life for something, watching others celebrate while you keep hoping, year after year. That was the story of City fans. But on that day, everything seemed perfectly set. Manchester City only needed one victory against Queen's Park Rangers to become champions. Simply, or at least, that's what everyone thought. The stadium was electric. Sky blue flags waving, fans singing louder than ever. Some were crying before the match had even begun because they believed history was about to change. The match begins. The whistle blew. Manchester City attacked from the very first minute. Wave after wave of pressure. Possession, shots, and Finagi. In the 39th minute, the stadium exploded. Pablo Zabaleta scored. City were winning 1-0. The crowd roared like thunder. But football, son, football loves drama, and drama was coming. Everything starts to go wrong. In the second half, something unexpected happened. Queen's Park Rangers equalized. 1-1. Silence spread across the stadium. Then, to make things worse, QPR scored again. 2-1. Manchester City were losing. And meanwhile, across the city, Manchester United had already won their match. Which meant one thing. If the score stayed like this, City would lose the title. After 44 years of waiting, imagine that, son. All that hope, all that expectation, and then heartbreak. The clock is the cruelest opponent. The minutes ticked away. 80 minutes. 85 minutos. 90 minutos. Manchester City were still losing. Fans in the stadium were in shock. Some were already crying. Others simply stared at the pitch, unable to believe what was happening. The referee lifted the board. 5 minutes of added time. 5 minutes to change history. 5 minutes to save a season. The first miracle. Then something happened. In the 92nd minute, Edin Dzeko scored with a powerful header. 2-2. Ope returned. The stadium shook with noise, but there was a problem. A draw was not enough. Manchester City still needed one more goal, and there was almost no time left. The moment that became legend. Now listen carefully, son, because this is the moment people still talk about today. 93 minutes, 20 seconds. The ball reached Sergio Aguero. He was inside the penalty area, but he was surrounded by defenders. Most players in that moment would panic. They would shoot too early, or pass the ball away. But Aguero did something different. First touch, calm. He passed the ball to Mario Balotelli slipped as he returned the pass. Yet Somayo, the ball rolled perfectly back to Aguero. Now there was only one decision left. Aguero took one touch, then smashed the ball into the top corner. Goal. 3-2. And in that second, the world exploded. A stadium that lost its mind. Son, imagine this. 50,000 people screaming at the same time. Fans falling to the ground in disbelief. Players running everywhere. Commentators shouting so loudly their voices broke. You've probably heard the famous call. Aguero. That shout echoed across football history. Because in that moment, Manchester City became champions. After 44 years, in the most dramatic finish the Premier League had ever seen. The tactical genius behind the goal. Now, let's talk about something important. Because great goals are not only about luck, they're about intelligence. Here's what made that goal special. 1. Positional awareness. Aguero didn't run blindly. He stayed in a space where defenders lost track of him. That small pocket of space changed everything. 2. Patience under pressure. Instead of shooting immediately, he passed to Balotelli. That split-second decision created the angle he needed. 3. Timing. Football is often decided in milliseconds. Aguero waited for exactly the right moment before striking. 4. Mental strength. Most players would feel overwhelming pressure in that situation. But Aguero stayed calm, and that calmness turned a chaotic moment into one of the football best goals in history. The crowd, the tears, the magic. After the goal, something beautiful happened. Fans jumped onto the pitch. Players hugged each other. Some people were laughing. Others were crying. For them, it wasn't just a title. It was decades of hope finally rewarded. And that, son, is the magic of football. But why does this matter? Now, let me ask you something. Why do people still talk about this goal? Why is it replayed again and again? Because it reminds us of something powerful. The match looked finished. City were losing. The title seemed gone. But they kept fighting. And sometimes, son, life works exactly the same way. The life lessons hidden in that goal. Let me share a few lessons with you. 1. Never quit too early. Most people give up when things look impossible, but the truth is, sometimes success is only seconds away. 2. Stay calm in chaos. Aguero didn't panic. He stayed calm when everything around him was madness. In life, that skill is priceless. 3. Believe in your moment. Every person has a moment when opportunity arrives, but only those who believe in themselves are brave enough to take the shot. 4. Teamwork matters. Balotelli's pass was messy, but it still helped create the goal. Sometimes success comes from imperfect teamwork. 5. Fight until the final whistle. The clock may be running down, but the game is not finished. A father's words to his son. So listen carefully. Son, life will not always be easy. Some days you will feel like the match is lost. You will fail exams. You will make mistakes. People might doubt you, and sometimes you might even doubt yourself. But remember that goal. Remember that moment. Because life, like football, always gives one more chance. Maybe not today. Maybe not tomorrow. Bad one day. And when that moment arrives, you must be ready. Ready to run. Ready to three. Ready to take the shot. The beautiful game and the beautiful life. That is why people call football the beautiful game. Not because of trophies, not because of money, but because inside those 90 minutes, we see reflections of life. hope, fear, failure, triumph, and sometimes miracles. The final message. So if you ever feel like giving up, if you ever feel like the clock has run out, remember this story. Remember the boy from Argentina. Remember the stadium shaking. Remember the moment when the impossible became reality. Because the greatest lesson football can teach us is how to keep going. If this story inspired you, if you believe football is more than just a game, and if you believe the football best goals can teach us powerful lessons about life, then subscribe to this channel. Because here, we don't just watch football, we discover the stories, the emotions, and the life lessons hidden inside the beautiful game.